Welcome to an episode of, it's a special episode, by the way, of the Winterpeg Report. I am Mark Adam. I am owner-operator of the WPG magazine. And today I have a special guest. His name is Drew Spades, a.k.a. Beckham, a.k.a. Young D, a.k.a. Dizzle Spades. I mean, if we were going to do all his AKAs, I think we'd be here for 7 days. But let's just bring him in. This is the man himself, Drew Spades. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? I'm pretty good. How about you?
Can't complain. I'm just over here trying to get over COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Assuming I'm
Yeah.
officially have COVID. I did a rapid test and it said positive, but I got my official test done and it's been like 6 days and I still don't have my
Oof.
results. So
Oh no.
yeah, good times.
Yeah.
By the time I actually get my results, I'll be out of the quarantine time frame from when I had
Right.
contact to the close contact that told me, hey, like I went and got tested, I'm positive. So then I went and got tested. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have even gotten to get tested if he didn't say anything because I had a cold over the weekend. But that's all it was a cold because I'm double vaxxed.
Okay.
So when I got I'm assuming the
Yeah.
Omicron variant of this COVID virus, I my symptoms were super minimal
Yeah.
and they lasted very short amount of time.
Yeah.
So the fear mongering being done isn't aimed at the people who are double vaxxed for sure. When you get it,
Right.
like it's super mild. That was my experience. Of course, can't speak for everyone. I don't want to rock any boats, but
Yeah.
we're here to talk COVID and your business and how it has affected you. So first of all, before we get into all the COVID stuff, let's go back and give people sort of a lesson. People who may not know who you are, a bit of a lesson in what it is exactly that you do. Because again,
Yeah.
you're a rapper, you're a DJ, you're a hip hop artist, you're a music
Yeah.
producer, you're all these things. Rapper, hip
Yeah.
hop artist. There might be some crossover there. I think I might have double said that one. But yeah, why don't you tell us basically who is New Spades Entertainment? Is it just you? Who is it?
Yeah. So I started New Spades Entertainment back in August of 2016. Basically, it provides DJ services for corporations, weddings, wedding socials, and events in general for the most part. I do have a team that works with me. I always found like different DJs to fill in for the right spots, depending on what's going on. So certain weddings that we do might be a little more country style. I have a guy that's a little more specialized in that. However, I work throughout all the genres myself as well. And then I have people that are specialized in maybe this or that. So I find who works with me well for the right events. It's about me and four other guys. But otherwise, yeah, we do big events like the Manitoba night markets. We've done Mac Cosmetics. We've done Skip the Dishes, Christmas parties, all sorts of stuff like that.
So, in answering the question, what is it that you guys do? You do DJ events and all that kind of thing, but you also throw your own events and do that kind of stuff and produce music and things like that. So, what else
Yeah,
does New Spades do other than just the DJ stuff?
absolutely. So we had an event recently at the Goodwill Social Club earlier on in December. We so other than just DJing necessarily, yes, we do produce. So we'll make music. We're working on tapping into making different music like beats and stuff for more so for like TV commercials and trying to venture off a little bit into that as well, just to stay creative and always push the envelope forward. But a couple of us are hip hop artists as well, as you were mentioning earlier. So we do a little bit of studio work as well, and just pretty much, I guess, for the most part, laying down different tracks and seeing how we can expand that too.
So then, you guys have been around for a while as New Spades Sound and Entertainment. And so, how long exactly? Like, when did New Spades Sound start? Let's go there. When did it start? And
Back in August 2016.
so, August 2016. You're looking at over 5 years now.
You got it.
And this COVID thing is really, you were around doing your thing before this, and it's just sort of been kicking your butt this whole time. Hey.
Yeah, because it's been a lot of hard work building it, and every year it's been building more and more. And basically, yeah, like now we're coming up across a lot of challenges that are just really just breaking everything down heavy.
Yeah. I, I think a lot of businesses are affected, but none more so than the arts. It's hard
Yeah.
enough to be an artist, whether that's an actual like painter or it's hard enough to make a living doing that kind of stuff without
Hmm.
the restrictions basically cutting off every source of income that exists for you. Um,
Yeah.
and so, and you just your operation, New Spade Sound, operates here in Manitoba only, right?
Correct. It operates here in Manitoba. And then right before 2020, we were looking at expanding into Vancouver and Calgary.
And then that got kiboshed because of the virus.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, what would that have looked like? Would you have moved, or you have people there, right?
Yeah, one of my main partners, he ended up moving to Vancouver, and then we were looking at how we could start expanding everything from there. So, with the business going well, basically, I'd still be able to live here in Winnipeg, but he'd have his eyes out in Vancouver. I'd be able to kind of go back and forth. And then we're looking at doing Calgary at the same time. I have a few people just in general out there, and we were just getting really innovative. I have enough guys that were able to help take care of like the different events here in Winnipeg, which would have allowed me to now explore these other markets.
Okay. And then how did I mean, why New Spades? Why Spades? Why? Because you're Drew Spades. You run New Spades
Yeah.
Sound and Entertainment. I know one of your rapper name you go by Darkspade-Tha-Ace, and like what is it about that spoke to you? Why New Spades Sound as a name?
Yeah, basically, every project I've kind of just done throughout my life has revolved around the word spades. Like when I was younger, I used to love playing different card games in general. And every time I was playing cards, like something about the spade suite would always just kind of stick out to me. And I thought it was cool. So, like at the age of 13, when I was coming up with my hip hop name, um, ended up coming up with Dark Spade, the Ace, and stuff like that. Kind of built off that. So every project I've done afterwards, the word spade would kind of come around. So that's kind of how that pretty much also developed into New Spades as I was doing the company because it was just the next project. It was new. I'd go along with the word spades, and New Spades was then born.
So then, obviously, that was like earlier on in your life. That was before you started a business. You said you started in 2016. So, how did New Spades start then? So, for those that don't know, obviously, there's a lot of people in your circle that knows the story and all that,
Yeah.
myself included. But why don't you tell everybody what it is, like how you got started?
Yeah. Well, I've always been a very musical person throughout my life, playing multiple different instruments, again, doing hip hop, all sorts of stuff like that. And I guess DJing was something I was always interested in, but never really jumped right into it, you know? And I was originally working, I had my business partner at the time, we were working on the business plan for music school, put a lot of hard work into it. And by the time we were done the business plan, it just wasn't feasible enough to move forward with. So just being a little bit lost for a moment and trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do as my next business project? Something just kind of came around where someone wanted me to DJ somewhere, but I wasn't really a DJ. I just hired DJs. And I was like, well, why am I not a DJ? Why am I not taking this event? And then you know what? I just went and bought a DJ controller, started the business, had to learn quick, and away we went. That's kind of how New Spades got started up.
That's pretty cool. So you just took your passion for music, and you're like, wait, why am I not doing this? And then you went and did it. And I mean, I'm one of the lucky people that knows you in real life. I count you as a friend, and I
Mhm.
really I know that you have the ability to learn very quickly. and I've seen you do a lot of things where you learn skills in a hurry, and it's pretty impressive. I have a similar skill set in that I learn a lot of things and I do it quickly, and I think that's actually kind of funny because that's
Yeah.
for those that don't know, I was the one that actually designed the logo based
Yeah.
on some weird Snapchat finger drawing that Drew sent me one day. Like if you want to tell it, I'll let you tell the story of how all that sort of happened if you want.
Yeah. Well, we were at the gym one day, just running on a treadmill. Just got to talking, and then found out, he does graphics. And I was telling him a little bit about the business I was kind of like about to start up and everything. And then I found out he did video work too, and then got really excited. And then I'm like, hey, well, I need a logo. All right. So later on that evening, I tried sketching something up on my Snapchat, just something that was kind of in my mind. So I drew this little spade and this little thing, and it looked like a 1.5-year-old had drew it out and sent it over to him. I'm like, something like this. And away he went and came up with an amazing logo off of my little scribble.
I really like your logo. I'm really happy with how that turned out. But it was just so
Very
funny
happy.
to me that you were like, "Hey, I need somebody that can do this, man. If only I could find somebody." And we're both running on this treadmill back when I was in shape. Let's a moment of silence for my conditioning. But anyway, so we're just running on this treadmills, and you're just like, "Oh, I need this." I was like, "Oh, I used to do that," but I obviously, because at the time I was pretty new to Winnipeg because I had moved here from Nova Scotia, and what I did back in Nova Scotia, I did all these things, as a sort of a side business, graphic design, video work, that kind of thing. And then you're like, "Oh, I need somebody to do this." I was like, "Oh, I've actually done that before." You're like, "What?" And I remember it's funny because you almost fell off the treadmill. You were laughing so hard because you're just like, "Oh, you do all these things, and I need these things." And I was like, "When I've been looking to try and do these things." So, and it's funny because like I'm actually not officially part of New Spades Sound in any way. I'm just New Spades Sound adjacent. I just do my own thing. It's just, but I've been there since the beginning essentially. So it's been a lot of fun to watch the company develop and you grow, and you because I remember when it was like you and an idea, and that was your whole company, and then it became, you picked up a couple of guys, and some of them has since moved on, or you've moved on, and there's there's more guys coming through the door, and you built this following, and you got this whole thing going on now, and but for those that don't know, you DJ as DJ Black-David-Beckham. Tell that story.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, actually, for one of my hip hop lines, I was doing a song one time with somebody, and we're just there writing out the lyrics and stuff. And I'm like, just brainstorming. All right. So I come up with this line. Yo, I'm the Black-David-Beckham, girl, your attention I be getting. Your favorite appetizer, fries with dill dipping. My swag caught the flu. Straight illin', my squad like December. Always straight chillin'. And it was a cool line. And then so when I was thinking of the DJ name, I was like, you know what? Let's go with DJ Black-David-Beckham. I like that. And then that whole line that I have there, I could do something with it. So it's DJ Black-David-Beckham, girl, your attention I be getting was like the catchphrase. It was the line. And then it's like, I have multiple videos of people saying it. And then I put it together as a collage often for when I'm doing promotions and whatnot. Yeah. And then the other the other 2 bars of that line, like swag caught the flu, straight illin' squad like December, straight chilling. It's something you could find me saying at every event. So when the biggest climax part of the moment comes, I've done it at bomber games, socials, everything. I just quickly hop on the mic. I drop the 4 bars real quick, that whole line, and then I scratch in a nice, really hype beat and just get the party going. It's just one of my signatures, basically.
Which is very cool. But it's just, there's a lot of people that go, "What?" So you got people that are looking at it going like, that is the cleverest name, and you got people going, that is the dumbest name. But either way, they're talking about it.
Either way, they're talking about it. That was the idea.
And
either way, they're talking about it.
And I mean, even that has evolved. Now you just sort of like, people are just like, "Hey, Beckham," right? Like it's just a thing now. So
it's just a thing now.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's go by Beckham all around for the most part, kind of thing. Yeah.
So, okay, now that we've given people a basic history of your, like, who you are, where you came from, like what this company is all about.
Yeah.
Now it's time to get a little on the less positive side. Let's talk about how the virus and the government's handling of lockdowns and all this stuff has affected your business as an artist, as a business person, and how you've adapted and the things you've done. And then we'll get into some more topics after that. But really, like, what is it?
Yeah.
How have you really been affected? Let's hear about that.
Well, yeah, basically, been affected in the sense of my business relies on other businesses to operate. If you're a restaurant, you have your restaurant, which then just requires people to come through the door. I mean, it's more complicated than that, but just to keep it simple, that's what it is. Whereas my business, now I'm someone that may be hired by the restaurant to now spin some music for the people that come through their door. So if the restaurant can't operate, or if their funds are cut and they can't afford, and this DJ and this and that and everything, it affects my business that way. Whereas also, even if I'm being hired by, let's say, a couple for their wedding still needs to take place at a venue. And when there's restrictions on those venues in general, once again, I'm not needed for that event. So now, whether it's the couple paying me, the restaurant paying me, or whatever's going on, regardless, I don't have the revenue coming in because of restrictions placed on all these other businesses.
Yeah. So there has been a lot of events you've had booked. Do you know exactly how many gigs have been canceled as a result of COVID restriction changes?
Oof, way too many. I want to say, if we're not even talking about repeating events, if we're just talking about single contracts in general, definitely over 40 for my business alone over the last few years.
That is rough.
Well over 40.
That is rough.
Yeah.
And I mean, I myself am a musician to a point. I don't take myself very seriously. It's not what I do for a living, but I love music. I love playing shows. And pre-pandemic, I had a monthly gig. Pardon me, I got the hiccups there. But pre-pandemic, I had a monthly gig. That's gone. That doesn't exist. That's a couple $100 a month. That's gone out of my pocket. And then all the other gigs that I would pick up in these, I play festival here, festival there. I think I've played, since the pandemic started, I have played 3 shows. Everything else has either been canceled or just not booked. Like, just we're not looking for that right now. We're just worried about, because and with the restrictions, the way they do it, the musicians have to have 12 feet. It's not 6 feet because you're singing. So you need to be 12 feet away, not 6 feet away. And so, like, restaurants just weren't willing to give up the square footage when they already have reduced capacities, right?
Right.
So everybody has to be 6 feet apart. And, right now, currently 50% capacity and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's rough. And I'm upset about it. And it's not even my job. Like, that's not my living. That's not. Now, mind you, my living has taken a serious hit. I run the WPG magazine, which is an events-based magazine, which, and right now there's no events. You can't, it's very frustrating. And, when you're trying to sell sponsorship and ads to the website and things like that, well, who wants to buy ads on an events page when there's no events? Mind you, we've pivoted and we've saved we get a lot of views for our local maker spotlights and things like that. But the amount of work I've had to do to adjust and pivot is insane. And I imagine it's the same for you. Can you tell the people what some of the things that you've done to just sort of start pivoting and trying like, because you got to pay the rent, man, and
Yeah.
and that's a challenge some months. So
Oh,
why don't you
absolutely.
get into that? I want people to know what that's like for you.
Well, yeah, there's adjustments, pivoting, all sorts of stuff that you try and maneuver. You try and basically do something where you can record mixes and then hopefully sell them to some gyms or, couples that are getting married abroad and just different stuff like that. Basically, it's not the same and it's a lot harder to do, but again, it's trying to just get creative. But I found a lot of the ideas that we come up with to be creative and make the best of the situation, some sort of other restrictions come around and end up just shutting that down too. So that's where it really gets tough and frustrating. I've had people say, well, what else are you kind of like just doing for income? And it's like, well, I work part-time jobs at other places and stuff. But at the same time, like what people don't realize is for my business, it's a business. It's not just the events that I'm working at. It's the fact that it's a business, just like any other business, whether you're a plumber, whether you're an engineer, whether you're anything, there's still accounting that needs to be done. There's books that got to get done. There's strategic planning that needs to be, done. You sit down, you do office work. There's emails you got to reply to. There's all sorts of things that go into it. And so you can't just go work a full-time job or this or that or whatever and expect your business to survive. You have to be on top of all these things. And the thing is, the key thing that I mentioned there was office work. So imagine being a teacher or an engineer or something, and you go to work and let's say you're getting paid monthly, every couple weeks, whatever it may be, but you're getting paid for the time you put in, the work that you did. Now imagine you didn't get that paycheck after all that work that you did in the office. Well, that's kind of one of the struggles like I'm facing. I'm still working. It's still my business. I get paid on the events, right? And then I manage everything otherwise, but I'm still doing my office work, everything. Restrictions come in, cancellations come through. So it's like working without getting paid. And the government supports don't necessarily help out with my type of business. People look at it too much like it's some sort of hobby. It's not a hobby. It's a real business.
People undervalue the arts.
Yes.
It's people defund the arts, and then as soon as you do, people are like, "There's nothing to do. Like, what are we gonna like entertain me?" Well, guess what? You cut all the funding for the arts. There's nobody to entertain you. So go enjoy your minimalistic house with all your Amazon stuff that you're not buying locally. Like, supporting local and supporting art and things like that is important. And it's really frustrating to me that we're not seeing as much of that as we really need to. So, yeah, I feel for you, and I'm in very much, not the same boat, but a very similar boat,
Right. Absolutely.
So, and we're both sort of adrift at sea, hoping that the storm clears out. What do you say to people? Because I know people look at me and people look at you and go, "Well, if you're not making enough money, go get a quote real job." What do you say to those people?
Well, I say to people, okay, well, here's the thing. Imagine, okay, you just became a nurse. Let's say you went to school. You went through all these exams, everything, all the stress, all the studying, all the overnighters, all the this, the that, the breakdowns, whatever it may be. And then you put in all that work to do what you want to do, what you want to be doing. You want to be a nurse, you want to help people. So now once you've passed your exams, you got your job as a nurse, you feel good, you feel great. What if all of a sudden, for whatever strange reason, don't think too much into it, but let's just say you didn't need nurses anymore at all, period. And all that hard work you put into it is, all right, okay, go do something else. And that's it. Okay, well, now imagine putting all this time and hard work into a business that you made successful. That businesses don't just become successful by sitting around. you got to put in some work. You got to get out there. You got to do stuff people aren't willing to do. And basically, now imagine putting in all that hard work, the way you put in the work and studying exams, everything and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, someone's saying, well, I guess you just got to go do something else now. I don't think that's necessarily fair, right? Especially when it's something that is way like, it's out of my control, but I don't necessarily agree with the way it's being handled. So I feel like my business is being limited in an unfair way.
And I think there's a lot of people that are in, that boat, but where's the support?
That's the key question right now. Where is the support?
So
there are people that are getting supports. There's a lot of people that aren't getting supports. And that's where the problem is. If you're going to restrict everybody, you got to be fair to everybody. You got to understand where everyone's coming from. And that's the issue right now. You're leaving so many people out in the dark, out in the dust, and there's people struggling. And it's like, okay, you got a lot of people vaccinated, and this new variant comes around. And okay, you're talking about cases. But what are the cases? You're not talking about cases of the common cold. You're not talking about cases of the flu. You're not talking about pneumonia. You're just talking about cases of something that is just like those other things right now, because at the end of the day, what are the hospitalizations? What are the deaths? What are this? What are that? You're freaking out over cases. But when you do that, now, okay, you start coming into these restrictions, even though people are recovering. And I would assume it's because of the vaccination, but people are recovering and stuff. And now, but you're still putting all these restrictions in place that are creating other problems, and you're not addressing it. And it's like the new round of like the provincial support they came out with for businesses excludes way too many people.
Yeah. And so, okay. So to be clear, just so we don't get people thinking like we're anti-vax, anti-mask, anything like that. Right. What you're saying is if they're going to have restrictions, they need to support the people that are affected by said restrictions.
Yes.
Right.
To keep it very clear.
Okay. So I just don't want any oh, you're anti-maskers, da-da-da.
Yeah, no kidding. I guess to clarify that really quickly too, what I meant by that is basically the first few waves of COVID really put a strain on our hospital, like on our ICUs, everything of the sort. People were going through really rough stuff. The vaccinations came around. There was a big push for them. A lot of people got vaccinated. And so now and this is just my own personal observation for a disclaimer, but as people are getting sick from this variant right now, it just doesn't seem like the hospitalizations are coming in as heavy as they were before. Not to say that they won't or anything, who knows? But what I'm saying is, that's what I mean. We don't know what's exactly going to happen. We're just talking about cases right now and freaking out about that, even though it seems like these cases that are coming around, people are recovering without having to go to the hospital and this and that, meaning thinking the vaccination might be helping with that. That's kind of to clear that up a bit. But again, the point of everything is like, well, these restrictions are coming in heavy, but why?
And that's sort of where we're at, where it's like, the Omicron variant is way more contagious than the previous variants. Sure. Right. I even managed to get it, and I'm very careful. I got two kids. My partner works in a restaurant. I'm very careful, and I managed to get infected with this new Omicron variant. But again, because I'm double vaxxed, my symptoms were so light. I literally wouldn't have even got tested because I was like, it's literally a head cold. That's all it is. And then it was gone.
Yeah.
And then, but like you said, it's the fear mongering and the half explanations, and it's just the way the media presents it. You would think that people are still dying like en masse, which is not necessarily the case. Now, I get that amongst the unvaccinated, symptoms are quite a bit more severe. I gotta stop with these hiccups. Probably shouldn't have scarfed that food right before the recording, but yeah, like I get that the unvaccinated are having a lot of complications, but I would like to leave that as its own evidence and just walk like if the unvaccinated are having issues with, maybe get vaccinated. And it's absolutely, I'm not one of these people that's like, you have to get vaccinated. I really think you should get vaccinated. I really do. I'm never going to make anyone, but I just don't understand after everything, like where we are now, how are people still against the vaccine? Still.
I know.
Like initially, sure, it's new, don't know, not enough info, blah, blah, blah. But now there's just so much evidence, and to each their own. And if you don't want to get the vax, that's totally your prerogative. But I also believe that if you choose not to get the vaccine, you don't get to complain when your job says you can't work here. You don't get to complain when you can't go to a restaurant because you don't have a vaccination card. Like you just don't. You're making a conscious choice to do a thing. That's it. And I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to walk down the middle here, but people just can't understand that there is a middle. Sometimes they're like, you're either this or you're this. You're either get vaxxed or die, or I won't get vaxxed because it's stealing my freedoms. Like there's two so diametrically opposed sides that people forget that there's so much room in the middle for interpretation and open-mindedness.
Right. And speaking of that middle too, like again, even going with people that are, let's say, not vaxxed, it's one of those things too where it's like it's not necessarily that they are against the vaccination, right? That's what people make it seem like. If someone's unvaccinated, it's like all of a sudden they're against the vaccination. But that's what I mean. People won't listen to people anymore these days. It's like some people have very specific reasons for why they chose not to get the vaccination and stuff, but it has nothing to do with being against it or anything. Some people have some traumatic experiences from other vaccinations. Some people have heard from their doctors, you know what, this vaccination is not for you just because of some of your other health reasons, but to even get a exemption sort of pass thing or whatever apparently is really, it's not an easy process. There's certain things where they won't give it to you based on this, and that. And it's like, well,
you can't just not want to get vaccinated, right? You have to have a medical reason to be exempted.
And even people with medical reasons I've heard couldn't get exempted because of this complication or that complication. That's what I'm finding about a lot of this stuff. There's so many complications.
I don't know
around everything.
And but I'm willing to admit I don't know everything. And it's just so crazy to me that, especially, it's evident on both sides that some of this is happening. I don't know if you're familiar with the Dunning-Kruger effect, but basically the Dunning-Kruger effect states that the people with the least knowledge think that they know the most, essentially. Like there's a learning curve of like, what people think they know, and then as you go down that other side, it goes way down, and then it gradually goes up as you learn more. You recognize how much you know versus how much you don't. So, but it's just I know nothing means I know everything until I know enough to know I know nothing. Right. That's the Dunning-Kruger effect, and you can go look it up. It's a real thing, but it happens way more on the anti-vax, anti-mask side, where people are just like, these are the facts, and it's absolutely, those are not facts. Those are several people's opinions, not grounded in science or fact or anything. But you can't just say something's a fact and it's then a fact. That's just not how facts work. That's your opinion, and so that happens on the other side too, on the go get vaxxed. That does happen on that side, that whole like, I know, but it happens way less on that side because that is the side that follows the science generally. So I know enough to know that I don't know. So then I'm going to trust the people whose job it is to know and who have studied it their whole lives. That's the thing. So I know I don't know all of the things, and I don't claim to have the answers, but I will tell you, based on all of the evidence that I can gather from all of the experts in the world who are actually experts and not media people with an opinion, get vaccinated. Just get vaccinated.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I like how you I like how you say that too, because like if I were to take a jab at like the people on the other side too, which again I like, the science, I believe in the science. However,
yeah,
however, the reason why I like to, well, not like to, but why I would like to take a jab at some of that side too is because sometimes people forget you have to take a step back and really like, think for yourself at the end of the day too, right? Like I listen to all the science facts, everything, but then you got to remember how often is the science always changing? There's time where smoking was good for you. You could smoke while you're pregnant, it's fine. And then look how much that's changed, right? But right, even just to everything COVID-19 related, there's a lot of things that keep changing and changing and changing, which I mean, as it's new and it had to be studied quickly, naturally things are going to change as you figure out more and more.
sure.
But that's just one thing to just keep in mind, how much everything just keeps changing.
All right, so we're going to take a break right now. So we'll just take a quick pause.
Perfect. All right? Sounds good.
I apologize for the blunt interruption and the break we had to take while you were talking there, but I was on hold that entire time, actually for over 3.5 hours, or 3 hours and 40 minutes, when the person finally answered the phone. And they went and looked, and my results still aren't in. And as it turns out, I have to wait maybe 2 or 3 more days for the results, which is unforgivable, really. I literally had my close contact with this person that tested positive. If I have to wait 3 days, it'll be 15 days from from when I had contact with this person, and I have had contact with no one else since. So I just want to throw things, man. I'm so frustrated.
No.
Okay, that was a very frustrating conversation to have,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
maybe I'll record or I'll play because it was recorded, the ending of it there. I'm very, very annoyed. I can't express how annoyed I am right now.
Yep.
But it is what it is, and so now basically by the time I get my results, my 14-day isolation window will already be over.
Nope.
It's like, yeah, you had COVID. That's the conversation that I'm going to have. Yeah, you had COVID. It was COVID, or it wasn't COVID, one or the other. But I won't know until I'm already allowed to be back with other human beings. So, like, what is this system even?
Doesn't make sense.
What is the point of going to get tested if it's going to be a retroactive yes or no, you had it or didn't? Like, I'm sorry. I'm really upset at the moment.
Yep. Yep.
And again, if you're vaccinated, don't bother getting tested. Just don't. If you have a cold, stay home, isolate till the symptoms are gone. Then just don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't actually advocate for that, but I'm just saying, like, that's the frustration in me right now. It's like, what was the point? I did everything right. I did everything the way that I'm supposed to. I found out that I had a close contact, went and got tested. Results aren't in by the time that my quarantine would be over anyway. Like, what is the point?
Yeah. Too much of it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm very frustrated. I'm sorry. The attitude from before we took our break and after took our break is very different. I have a very different energy right now. Right now, I would call it contained rage. Is that fair?
That's a lot of things these days. Contained rage, because it's like, it's frustrating. You're trying to be patient. You're trying to this. You're trying to that. But too many things don't make sense, and they make you very angry. But it's like you can't really just get angry and and this and that, because it's such a heated, controversial subject and everything. So it's like,
if they had just shut the whole world down for 1 month in the April of 2020. Take a month off, world. Whole world shut down. No travel unless it's like life or death. Just the whole world stop for 1 month. This would have went away. But everybody complained. You got to reopen the economy. You got to reopen. It's not necessary. I'm looking at you, Republicans in the United States. I'm looking at the anti-vax movement in every country in the world. It is your fault we're here. It is your fault that you're still bitching about all this stuff, because it would have gone away if you'd have just said, fine, let's shut down for a month. Give you a month. If it doesn't work, well, then we'll do it our way, you know? But no, you had to, I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm going to go protest, and then everybody gets sick. And then everybody that touched anybody that went near them got sick. Like, oh, I'm so angry right now.
Yeah.
But the other side of this coin is what we were sort of touching on before, which is, yes, we do need restrictions to a point. They need to make sense. Yeah. And if you're going to restrict things, you need, as a government, you need to support the people who are affected by the restrictions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like bankers, you can work from home for the most part. Right? Like for the most part, banks can operate very remotely. A lot of businesses can operate remotely. I'm in a profession where I operate from home, but my business, unfortunately, revolves around not things that are in my home. It revolves around events and things like that. Yes. So that's a bit tougher. But there's a lot of companies that can do that whole remote work thing. There are lots of people, lots of companies, and lots of businesses that rely very heavily on in-person. Restaurants can get around that a little bit with Skip the Dishes, DoorDash, Uber Eats, who, by the way, gouge the crap out of restaurants. I love those services because they make things so much more convenient. But restaurants would much rather have you come in and dine in because it costs them less money to do that than if they're sending all these things out the door. But they do still have a revenue stream from Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats. So there's definitely a silver lining. It isn't quite as bad as it could be, sort of thing going on there. But then there's musicians, and then there's the artists and people like that are completely vulnerable and are not being supported. What supports are available to you as an artist, Mr. Drew?
There's not a lot right now at this current moment. If we're talking specifically COVID related, I mean, like there was a point where we had the Manitoba Bridge Grant, which I mean was nice, but it did not cover even close to the amount of, I was saying earlier, I've had over 40 cancellations, and keep in mind, some of it's repeating business, so it's way more than that. But if you add up like the amount and stuff, Bridge Grant doesn't come close to it. I still got business expenses.
Same with my business.
Bills.
I'm with you.
Right? Yeah. And it's like, otherwise, there were no other sports. Like, there are some supports I could collect from the federal government that was like for individuals, which has helped out a little bit. But again, it's, you know, with my actual business expenses, everything, like that's what people don't understand. Like it's not just a hobby, it is a business. I have to pay for business loans. I have to pay for advertising. I have to pay for my equipment, like whether like stuff needs maintenance, it needs to be replaced. These things add up. They add up. And it's like, without the events coming in and stuff, it's like, you know what I mean? Why are we left in the dark? There's supports for other businesses. My business is left in the dark in so many ways. It's very unfortunate.
And I get that certain businesses, you know, they're big, and if they fail, then the economy suffers as a whole. And I get that it's important to help those businesses through this tough time. I totally get it. However, I think it is unfair how they decide who gets support. I don't think that enough light is shed on how those decisions are made. It's like, here's a program. Yes, but why is the program, why does it exclude this, and this but not this, this, and this? Why does it include these people when they're already getting support over here? Right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's the thing. Like it doesn't seem balanced. It doesn't seem fair. And I get that it's not an easy thing to do, but it
Right.
should be more transparent.
Yes.
What do I know, though?
Absolutely.
I'm just some dude in his basement with a green screen behind me, you know? So what do I know?
Yeah.
I'm just some guy.
Huh. Yeah. In the meantime, you know what? I've resulted to, there is a way. If anyone did want to help out, though, there is a way you can help out. I have started a GoFundMe page in the meantime. I figured it's one of the least I could do if the government's not going to help out, and etc. Even on Skip the Dishes, there's ways to do donations to restaurants. And I've seen on Instagram people donating stuff to teachers. I told
Which
myself
is a
I
worthy
can't
cause, by the way. Let's not say that that's not a good thing.
Absolutely. All of those are worthy causes because everybody, no matter what, needs help right now because we're all in this together. So, we all need help. It is what it is. But, instead of just being left out in the dark, if there was a way, you could help for someone like me, you could always check out the GoFundMe. And any donation, I truly appreciate. It helps out a lot. Like I said, I still have my business expenses that need to get taken care of and everything. And they're challenging times right now. But I love DJing. I love being able to provide my music and sound services for the different corporations and couples and people in general that have, hired us along the way. And I can't wait to really get back to it.
Yeah. And so, again, for those listening, GoFundMe, his page is, I've created a shorter link because it is GoFundMe.com/F/ blah 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 dash, it was long, so I shortened it up. Okay, wpg.news/New Spades Fund. Very easy to remember.
Yeah,
wpg.news/New Spades Fund.
Oh, nice and easy.
Very simple, very easy. So for those that are listening to the audio version of this, that I just wanted to be very clear because it is on the screen for those watching the video, but wpg.news/New Spades Fund. And that'll take you to the GoFundMe where you can read about Drew and what's going on. And man, I'm half a shake away from starting my Indiegogo campaign, which I've been setting up for a while, which wasn't really supposed to be COVID related originally. It was just like, hey, I'm this new business. Yeah. Here's what I'm trying to do. This, if you enjoy, like if you share my vision for this city, which is connecting, musicians and venues to the people and making sure that you don't miss shows and miss events that you really want to be part of, then here's where you can help. But now it's like, hey, my children need food. And you know what I mean? Like that's the part that people forget is like, like we're trying to do things to make this city better. You're trying to share music and art and the love of it and the passion that you bring to it. You're trying to create events that are memories that people are going to keep for a long time. But I feel like the art is just something that people just forget exists until they go looking for it. Like, art's not important right now. It's not. But then you turn around, it's like, oh, all the bars are open. Where's the musicians? Where are the DJs? Well, this DJ is working the bar behind there because he needed a job that actually paid him, and this. It's just
this one closed the doors.
Well, yeah, like this guy filed for bankruptcy. This guy had to move back home wherever he's from originally. Like Like it's just crazy to me that there isn't more support around this. So please, go the GoFundMe for Drew, wpg.news/New Spades Fund. Go support with whatever you can, if you can, even if you can't, just share that link, like. Sharing it out, saying, well, look, this is a guy, he's local, he's a Winnipegger born and bred. The guy lives and breathes Winnipeg, and he just needs your help, right?
Absolutely.
And then when my Indiegogo campaign starts, maybe that'll be something in your brain where you go, this guy is trying to, help bring Winnipeggers together and make Winnipeg better even, So, like, just keep those things in mind. It's the little people that get stomped on when this stuff goes, you know,
Yeah.
it's, you know, everybody's rushing for the door, and it's the little ones that get trampled, right? So let's not be that people. Let's not be the panic. Yes, we're all frustrated for whatever reason because you're an anti-vaxxer and you really think that it's irresponsible of the government to mandate it. If that's your stance, then you're frustrated. But we still need this virus to go away. Okay? If your stance is that everyone should be vaxxed, then it makes no sense to like force vaccinations. That's an extreme. That's a stance, sure, okay, but that we just need the virus to go away. So while you're arguing with each other, wear a mask and stand 6 feet apart. Like, we can argue about this later when the bars are back open again. We can argue about this later, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's have a pint when this is over, and we can discuss your position versus mine in like a healthy way. But screaming at each other over the internet isn't getting the job done. And whatever the government is doing isn't getting the job done. So there's we got to find some sort of common ground. And I think it starts with support local, support the people in your neighborhood, in your city, in your province, support each other. Because as you said earlier, Drew, you said we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And that's so true.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to say at this point, but hit up the man's GoFundMe. Again, for those with the audio version, wpg.news/New Spades Fund. New, N-E-W, Spades, S-P-A-D-E-S, Fund, F-U-N-D. Putting the fun back in fundraising. Yeah. So, listen, this is very important, okay? If you have any questions, you can email podcasts@thewpg.ca. If you want to get in touch with Drew, I'll get you in touch with the man. But go hit up his GoFundMe in the meantime. If you would like to be a guest on this show, then you can also hit me up. Podcasts@thewpg.ca. If you think that I should be talking to somebody in town, the Winterpeg report is all about Winnipeg. It's supposed to be about the events from last week, to talk about how cool they were, and the events for next week and how cool they're going to be. But let me tell you something. There's no friggin' events this week, people. There's none. Okay? There was like New Year's Eve canceled. We're not
New
doing.
Year's is canceled.
There's no New Year. It's just 2021 forever.
Yeah. New Year's Eve canceled.
Yeah. So liquor sales past 10 o'clock is illegal now. So stay home, be responsible, give no one the vid. Try not to catch it yourself. Get vaxxed. I recommend it highly. I'm not going to tell you you have to, but I will say if you don't get vaxxed, that is absolutely your choice. But I do not want to see you yelling at some hostess at a bar because they won't let you in because you don't have a vaccination card. That you just you make a choice. You either get vaxxed and be part of society, or you don't get vaxxed and stay away from my children. Those are your options. Is that fair? Am I off the deep end? What do you think? Drew, weigh in.
We all frustrated.
Yeah.
We're all frustrated.
No kidding. No kidding.
That's what I mean. No, at the end of the day, it's like, I just want these events to come back. I just, we could all be safe. We could all figure it out. I think a lot of government restrictions right now, like my own personal opinion, I think there's a lot of overreaction going on. That's just my own opinion. People can disagree. That's okay. But you know what I mean? That's the thing. It's like there's no agree to disagree or anything where there's no discussion. There's no this, there's no that. It's just everything is so controversial around the subject now, which is the rough part. But at the end of the day, I still don't have my revenue coming in. Like it's exhausting financially, mentally, everything, doing all this work and just losing all the revenue and stuff. And so at the end of the day, let's, just really think deeper about everything. These restrictions are here. There's not much I can do about them, but I can do this in the meantime, the GoFundMe part. So, check it out. And
you have to go support the GoFundMe, wpg.news/New Spades Fund. But at this, just in the meantime, just be kind to each other, okay? If you have a neighbor that's an anti-vaxxer, then maybe don't punch them. Maybe don't yell at them. Maybe don't argue with them. No good will come of arguing. You can't argue with someone who isn't following logic. And on the other side, if you're an anti-vaxxer and you're trying to argue against like people who are rooted in like listening to the doctors and the experts and the you know, all these people whose lives have been dedicated to doing research on this exact subject, then just maybe don't argue. Like, you're not an expert. Don't pretend to be an expert. You don't know everything. You don't have access to some secret news source that no one else has access to. The reason you're the only one listening to Alex Jones or whatever is because the guy's an idiot. And like, you just bring it down. There is no use in arguing. There just isn't.
Yeah, so if you be kind to each other.
Yeah, if you choose not to get vaxxed, choose not to get vaxxed, but do so on your own terms, quietly. If you are getting vaxxed, good for you. I support getting vaxxed. I really think everyone should. But I just think
just don't treat other people like they're less than people, though. Don't think you're all high and mighty just because you got vaccinated, right? Like, I got vaccinated myself. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm not now like, oh, you're unvaxxed, I'm going to treat you like you're less than me. I'm not trying to do that or anything. But at the same time, you like, again, you see what's going on, and like, there's a lot of cases, not a lot of hospitalizations this time around. And I would personally assume that the vaccination has something to do with it. But, you know, then they be kind to each other. And let's get these things open.
I'm so like, why can't we as a people, and I mean humanity, forget Winnipeg for a second. Yeah. Like, on a grander scale, we can never get our poop in a group. This group wants to kill this group for whatever reason. Usually there's some sort of like land dispute or religious difference or whatever weird. Like, why can't we all just, okay, that's your opinion. I get the land disputes are harder because it's like, that's mine, that's not. Property is harder to settle those disputes about. But like, is the answer ever like killing each other and war and I mean, the new way that we talk to each other on the internet, since the internet is how we do almost all of our communicating now, can we not learn to have real conversations on the internet? Can we just seriously forget that the internet isn't where you go to call everyone Hitler and, you know what I mean? Like,
great, honestly.
The internet is more than a YouTube comment section. Can we have actual conversations?
Yeah,
again,
conversations.
Is that
open
a thing?
Discussions.
We can't have them in real life. We have to have them somewhere. And Facebook's algorithms, they make it so that if you're anti-vax, that's all you get is anti-vax. So you think you're right. Right? You think you're right because everything that you think is being funneled to you. So, like, get outside your own space for a minute. Have a conversation with someone who doesn't agree with you, but have a conversation, not an argument. Can we get back to where we like converse instead of argue all the time? Can we do that?
Right, exactly.
I think we've gone on a little long enough. I'm sorry. I'm in rant mode ever since that phone call. WPG.news/New Spades Fund. Look for that. Please support the man. He's a local guy trying to make local better. The WPG magazine could use your help when we launch our Indiegogo campaign. We're local people living locally, trying to make local better. You know, it's just, honest to God, if we just love each other and support each other, we're going to get through this eventually. It is super frustrating right now. I get it. But eventually we will come out the other side. There is another side to this. Right?
Absolutely.
If we just stop abandoning logic, we're going to get there. We are. We are.
For real. Awesome.
Thank you, Drew, for being a guest on this show. I appreciate you very, very much.
Absolutely.
Check him out, New Spades Sound and Entertainment. He's got an Instagram. What's your Instagram? At New Spades Sound?
Beckham at New Spades Sound or at Beckham_New Spades.
There you go. At Beckham_New Spades. And that's Beckham. There's an H in there. You got to spell it right.
Yep.
Beckham. Yeah. So on our way out, why don't you leave us with your line there, sir? DJ Black-David-Beckham. Let's go.
Yeah, it's DJ Black-David-Beckham. Girl, your attention I'll be getting. Your favorite appetizer, fries with dill dipping. My swag caught the flu. Straight illin'. My squad like December. Always straight chillin'. Yeah.